Lost and broken, and she is too. Maybe this should be in mental health or somewhere else, but here it goes. My GF of 9 years, both early 40s, broke it off 6 months ago. I think we both thought at the time that maybe things could be resolved. Since then, things have become more antagonistic. She thinks I have many girlfriends, have a secret child, have bought at least one house for at least one of them. I think she has mental health issues due to an abusive childhood and lots of abuse from the people she's been with in her adult life. We have very different incomes. When it became time to leave, she moved into an apartment in the same complex despite not meeting the income requirements, so she struggles now. I have paid multiple months' rent for her on her promise of getting on her feet. I realize this isn't possible given her income and expenses. Since then, she has attacked me, accused me of inappropriate relationships with her daughters, and held on to the idea that I have many women in my life despite no evidence. I know she is hurting, so I continue to help. I need to stop. I realize she has and is abusive in the ways men were to her. How do you walk away from something like this? I love her and her kids. I know that she's miserable. I don't think we could ever get back together. I just want to see her on the right path, but 6 months later I feel like I'm nothing more than an ATM. I am drinking myself to death. I have talked to her family and they blame me for allowing her to continue on due to the financial support. I'm in therapy, but it doesn't help when she forces herself into my home and refuses to leave or just sends me hateful things. I am just so lost in my concern for her and my need to get better. She is an amazing person who is hurting so much but is coping with it by abusing me. I have never had a relationship that ended with such animosity over things that never happened. And never one I cared about so much. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, how do you walk away from something like this? I love her and her kids. I know that she's miserable. I don't think we could ever get back together. I just want to see her on the right path, but 6 months later I feel like I'm nothing more than an ATM. You can't fix crazy, and it sounds like it is definitely at the point of no return. I am drinking myself to death. I have talked to her family and they blame me for allowing her to continue on due to the financial support. I'm in therapy, but it doesn't help when she forces herself into my home and refuses to leave or just sends me hateful things. I am just so lost in my concern for her and my need to get better. She is an amazing person who is hurting so much but is coping with it by abusing me. I have never had a relationship that ended with such animosity over things that never happened. And never one I cared about so much. I'm just go say that you are clinging on to the past and all the good memories before things went south. People change over time, and unfortunately this change was for the worse. Now what is happening to you too is like a majorly infected wound that needs to be amputated. Sure, you want to keep your infected limb, but if you don't amputate it, it will kill you. And judging by this is exactly the case. 10 years is a long time and it is going hurt. But they all either hate you or can't do anything to convince her otherwise. You have to let her go. She isn't the same person you met 9 years ago. Op answer, I would be ready to let her go no matter how much it pains me. I can't deal with seeing the eviction notice on her door. I know I'm the idiot here. Redditor 2, sounds like she needs to go through therapy regularly. And if she finds the right therapist, they could work with her on price. And or perhaps adjusts how she is spending living in life so she could afford one. That definitely sounds like a much deeper psychological issue due to trauma abuse. Ultimately, she's not your responsibility and you have the right to move on to find someone at the level you're needing. You need to fully separate yourself from that situation and create solid boundaries, even if that means installing a lock on the doors. If words is not enough, block her and take off her number. Protect yourself from her actions. Because what she is doing isn't healthy for her and it's most certainly not healthy for you. Op answer, I have offered to cover therapy with no expectation of a future relationship. Redditor 3, you need to move away. You cannot count on her doing so. You cannot count on her getting her shit together and leaving you alone. Get yourself into a new space, get her completely out of your life and concentrate on healing. Fixing her is not your job, fixing yourself is. Update, I'm watching my ex drown. We both mid-40s broke up in November of last year. I think both of us thought we might work it out. That hasn't happened. To keep it short, She thinks I have been a serial cheater. I believe she has mental issues that need treatment. I have wanted to make sure she is on a path to success. She has repeatedly said she'd ruin my life. She really believes these things, and if they were true I would deserve that. She has had trouble getting on her feet. I have covered her rent for multiple months. Each time saying that we need to discuss how she becomes self-supporting, but that can only happen with a level of civility. I have been trying to cut the support off, but I still love her. She's had an incredibly hard life, but at her core is such a loving person. If planned to make this the last month. But then we had a week of her yelling hurtful and dangerous things at my door. She now believes I have an ongoing relationship with her adult daughter, but that it started when she was underage. Neither of these things are true. She also likes to tell me how much richer, better the people she is with now. But still asks for financial help. I can pay. I'm not hurting my lifestyle, but certainly savings. I love her. I hope she gets the help she needs, even if we don't ever find a path with us. I also think maybe she's not as sick as I think she is and is enjoying using me. This post is a mess. I want her to be okay even if there is no us. I can't be used as an ATM. How do you watch a person you love lose everything? Redditor's reaction. Story 2 after. Redditor 1, by continuing to financially support her, you are enabling her. I know it feels like cutting her off would be unloving. But in these situations, cutting the person off is the right thing to do for them and for you. The reality is, if you keep doing the same thing, the same result will keep happening. Op answer, this is what I'm doing. I know it's right, but it doesn't feel that way. She even asks to move back in. I just can't live my life that way, even though that's all I want. Redditor 2, your relationship is textbook abuse. She will not get better in any way as long as you are funding her. You need to stop now. Op answer, it is. What I will say won't change that analysis, but I think she will self-harm. I would have gone no contact before except for the threats to hurt herself. Redditor 3, this woman swore to ruin your life and you respond to that by paying her rent. She shows up screaming that you are a pedophile at your door, and you keep paying her rent. You need to distance yourself from this woman. Paying for her rent after she accuses you of illegal, immoral behavior is going to have people suspicious that it's true, and you feel guilty and or are trying to pay her off. It's a really bad idea to even talk to this woman, much less support her. Love can make us do some pretty silly things, but you are putting yourself in jeopardy, at least reputation ally, if not worse, for someone who abuses you. I would talk to a male victim-oriented domestic violence organization if I were you. You're going to need the support for the inevitable restraining order that you will need when she inevitably gets worse. Never be alone with this woman again. She is willing to make accusations that could ruin your life. I could see her accusing you of RP. Op answer, yep. On my side I have documented, recorded everything. What you say isn't wrong, but also not things I've thought about. But yeah. No more sympathy. Story 2, wife cheated after 13 years together. Hi everyone. A little background. My wife 28F and I 28M have been together for 13 years. We started dating when we were roughly 16, never broke up, and got married 3 years ago. We had the kind of relationship that others were jealous of, and everyone always expected us to get married when we were younger. Over the past 1.5 to 2 years, things started changing between us. Some issues came up with her family and she started to become more and more distant, both emotionally and physically, starting being super protective of her phone, and grew closer and closer with a male coworker. Long story short, I snooped. Yes, I know this is bad, on her phone because I had a feeling something was going on based off a variety of factors, and found incriminating texts confirming that she was having an affair with this guy. When I confronted her early September, she owned up to it, saying that it had been going on for a year. They had been having the affair in our home, sleeping together in the bedroom that would eventually be the room where our future children slept. She apologized, saying it would never happen again, and I told her that in order for us to move on, I need her to have no contact with the person she cheated on me with. 2 months later, and they are still talking occasionally, with her saying it is unfair of me to ask her to not talk to someone she considers a close friend. I honestly don't know what to do at this point. I am trying to see if I can move on, but I feel like I can never trust her again. I feel like her choosing to be in touch with him still shows that she is choosing their relationship over ours. I am just totally torn on what my gut is telling me. She also told me not to tell any of our friends what is going on, so I don't even have someone to talk to. Sorry, this was a bit of a rant, but it's the first time I have written it all out, and I really do not know how to proceed or how to cope with this. Edit was not expecting this large of a reaction. Outside a few of you that seem to think nasty replies are appropriate when someone has their entire life crumble around them, this was helpful. I know what I need to do, I just need to rip off the band-aid and do it. I am going to call the lawyer I spoke to a few weeks ago tomorrow and see how he says I should approach the situation. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, partner of 13 years, 3 years married, has had an affair for the last year and is still talking to the man she cheated with. This is going to sound harsh, but divorce her. If she's not willing to do absolutely everything she can to repair the abuse and trauma she's inflicted on you, then she's not worth reconciling with. She'll just cheat again and again. Trust me, I know from experience. Op answer, part of me knows what I need to do, but does not know how to do it. The relationship has been such a huge part of my life, and is basically all I know, and as hard as it is to say, I am scared. I have spoken to a lawyer already in mid-September when this all started, but I just do not know how to finally say that it is what I want. Redditor 2, he stopped being a friend when they had time in your home. A year is not an oops. She was caught and is still showing her needs are more important than yours. Time for her to go, dude. Redditor 3, with her saying it is unfair of me to ask her to not talk to someone she considers a close friend. He's not a friend, he's an affair partner. Friends don't try to break up marriages. He's a asset bag of a human being and so is she. You need to divorce her. She's absolutely insane and caught up in limerence if she expects you to accept this crap. Update, wife cheated after 13 years together. Hey everyone. I figured it was time to update since all of your advice was so helpful. After posting here a little over a month ago and reading all of your advice, I called my lawyer, told my parents and some close friends what was going on, and told my wife that I wanted a divorce. She begged and pleaded, promising to make things better and cut off contact with the AP. We spent all weekend together with her, promising things and saying and doing all the right things. I did not fully believe her, but I was willing to give her one more chance to try and save what I thought we had. Things were fine, we were more or less just coexisting for about a month, but she was on her phone a lot less and being more attentive to me. Well, 2 weekends ago she handed me her phone to show me something and I suspiciously swiped up on her open apps and there she was, talking to her AP on Instagram. I flipped out and she promised he just messaged her and she told him that she could not talk. This was blatantly false as I read their conversation and they were discussing what they were each doing that night. I was again duped, lied to and deceived. She told me she would finally block him but wanted to say goodbye since he was a friend. I said it was inexcusable and that she had to cut off contact and block him right then, which she said she would. 2 days later I asked if she had blocked him and she had not yet. End of the long story. I told her right on the spot that we are getting a divorce and we can either go through mediation if she agrees to every single thing that I want, or I can get my lawyer involved and I will get what I want anyway. She agreed to mediation and we are beginning that process shortly. It took me some time to get there, longer than it probably should have, but I finally have enough respect for myself to put an end to this and go find the life of happiness that I deserve. She still tries to make me feel bad about all of this, blaming me to a degree and telling me how awful of a situation I am putting her in, but I reminded her that it was her actions that caused this, not mine, and that she has to live with the consequences of her actions. I have also begun telling more friends about what happened along with the rest of my family. This is not how I ever saw my life going, but I know that this is a blessing in disguise and I will end up with someone who truly makes me happy. Redditor's reactions final update after. Redditor 1, at op. 1 grots on not doing the pick me dance. 2 interwebs friend, you better believe that she will do anything and everything to remain in your life. 2a gaslighting. 2b bad mouthing you to friends. 2c attempting intimacy. 3 document everything. 4 listen to your lawyer. You do have a lawyer? Right? 5 separate financially now. Remove half from your joint account. 5A. Open a new account that does not have her name on it. That is where your paycheck goes. 5B. Make sure your name is on things you want need only. 5C. Again, a lawyer can walk you through this far more efficiently than I can. 6. Focus on self. 6A. Exercise. 6B. Eat better. Drink H2O. 7. Learn skills. Pick up a hobby. 8. Do not leave the house unless instructed to by your lawyer. State laws vary greatly on this. 9. Good luck. I'd bet my ridiculous government paycheck actually not that ridiculous, this is going to get worse before it gets better. You deserve to be somebody's first choice. Op. Answer. I have a lawyer, which is why I know exactly what I am entitled to and how this will all work in my favor at the end of the day. She is aware that if things get difficult on her end, I will pull out of mediation and make things far more difficult on her. Redditor 2. Well, Op, you did finally make the right decision, but only after ignoring most of the advice that you were given. You could have avoided the last round of lying and bullshit if you had listened. Your STBX followed the exact script that you were told she would a month ago. Good luck. I'll be surprised if she doesn't torpedo the mediation and go full-out warfare. She is a manipulative person who has zero respect for you. She is expecting that you will follow the pattern that you have in the past, and not stand up to her. Op. Answer. I did not include every detail, but you are right. I was still being naive and hoping things could work. I now see there is no chance, and will not go back on this. I have made it clear that if she torpedoes mediation, then I will fight back, and this is something I will not back down on. I have started therapy and now see all that she has done over the years and how much better my life will be without her in it. Redditor 3. First rule of successful reconciliation is always cutting the AP out. If that doesn't happen, it's destined to fail. Best of luck on your recovery. I understand it's been a tough journey, and it will be a tough journey when she's finally gone, but you're slowly gaining back control of your life. I think you're at the point to realize that you'll never get good closure here on why. I suggest minimal contact. If she can't move out yet, move into another room away from her. Gray Rock and 180, only discuss divorce proceedings. No more conversations about the relationship. Redditor follow up. Yes. Hopefully we all learn and get wiser. First rule is to cut contact with AP before reconciliation could begin. Without it, you are wasting your time and prolong the pain. Source, personal experience. Final update, wife cheated after 13 years together. Hey everyone. I 29M know it has been a while since I last posted here, but I wanted to provide one final update on my story since you were all so helpful during this process. So, after telling my ex 29F that we were getting a divorce, the gaslighting went into overdrive. Blaming me, telling me that it is my fault that I am doing this to us, that I am giving up on our marriage, that it is really sad that I am letting our relationship end this way, and that I am going to take away the home that our dog knows, etc., etc. I stood strong, didn't let her get to me, and went through with divorce mediation. Mediation was smooth, she agreed to everything that I wanted, and I received notice from the courts yesterday that I am a free man. We sold the house within 3 months of starting mediation. She moved out 1 month prior to closing on the house. The gaslighting continued while living together waiting for the house to sell, with her continuing to blame me and telling me that I am mean because I refused to speak to her at all, and countless other things that only a truly sick individual would think to be true given the situation. Once the house sold, I moved back to my parents for a few months to collect myself and just figure out what to do with my life. I started weekly therapy and was able to reflect on the relationship, seeing how toxic and one-sided everything was. How I was the one always putting myself second and sacrificing my happiness to try to tolerate her and her unrealistic needs and expectations. My therapist suggests that it sounds like she has borderline personality disorder, which is a condition that runs in her family, and it makes total sense. I was also able to, and continue to, work on underlying issues that allowed me to get into such a toxic relationship, and at this point I feel like I will be able to identify the warning signs. I recommitted to my physical health as well, losing 15 pounds over the last 3 months and getting back into running, currently training for a 10K. Early this month I moved into my own place in New York City. I am reconnecting with friends who I lost touch with, and I have started dating for the first time in my life, albeit pretty unsuccessfully at this point. Plus, I got a promotion at work a few weeks ago that I worked my tail off for. I am mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially in a better place than I have been in years, and her showing me her true colors by having this affair was the greatest favor she could have done for me. I still have not told all of our mutual friends about the affair, as I was afraid she would get angry and tank mediation, but now that the divorce is final, I will be notifying everyone in our lives as to who she is and what she did. I guess all this was all just a long-winded way of saying that things will get better. There is nothing wrong with any of us because we were cheated on, and to try to use this as a launching point for you making yourself better and working to make yourself the best possible person. This is going to be my last significant post here most likely, as while I don't think my journey of healing has come to an end, it's just come to a new chapter, and dwelling on what this woman did to me is not worth it. Thank you again for all the support, both in terms of kind words as well as the harsh truths that I had to read. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, congratulations for sticking to your principles and for not doing the pick-me dance. Redditor follow-up, I have some PTSD from the fact I even did a pick-me dance. The toll it took on me, and how much I did not want to be in that situation was so terrible I started actually losing it for a bit there. I really wish I never let myself get into that situation and stuck to my principles and told her to PSS off months earlier. Redditor 2, I still have not told all of our mutual friends about the affair, as I was afraid she would get angry and tank mediation, but now that the divorce is final, I will be notifying everyone in our lives as to who she is and what she did. Waiting until everything is final was the right move. Redditor 3, sorry for find yourself where you were at. Big glad to see you climbing up, bro. When you inform her friends, family, don't forget to inform the HR department at her job, and provide any proof you saved. Redditor follow-up, yes. Make sure to do this. I am an HR professor, you must report it with the HR of her company. Make sure to give all evidence. If you can prove that they were going out during working hours, it will be really helpful. I wish you all the very best. Redditor 4, I was also able to, and continue to, work on underlying issues that allowed me to get into such a toxic relationship. Dude, cut yourself a break. If you were together for 13 years and you are 29, that means you met her at 16. At 16, you were not mature enough to see all the red flags of your relationship. It's good that you're working on such things now, but don't blame yourself for not being as mature at the age of 16 as you are now. Other than that, you seem to be doing great. Keep working on yourself.